Before Tennessee became a state of its own, it was part of North Carolina. To understand Tennessee's beginnings, we have to step back and look at the old North state, its people, its land, and the adventurous spirit that flowed westward over the mountains. North Carolina was one of the first English settlements in America. According to a royal charter granted by the King of England, the colony's land stretched from the Atlantic Ocean all the way west to the South Sea, what we now call the Pacific Ocean. Neither the king nor his explorers had any real idea how vast that distance was. Most of what they knew about the land came from the narrow coastline ships could reach. So, naturally, the first settlements hugged the sea, where ships could bring supplies and rescue if anything went wrong. The first permanent English community in Carolina was founded in 1663, more than 2 centuries ago. Slowly, over 100 years, settled pushed farther inland, climbing into the foothills of the Allegheny Mountains, the same rugged ridges that today mark North Carolina's western boundary. Even so, North Carolina never grew as crowded as some of its neighbors. Much of the land was sandy, rocky, or otherwise hard to farm, keeping large populations away. But people came anyway, people looking for freedom, land, and a chance to make a new life. The earliest settlers were mostly English, but over time the colony became a patchwork of backgrounds. Scots, Dutch, French, and Irish families all made Carolina their home. In the eastern part, Scottish Highlanders clung tightly to their old ways. For generations, they kept speaking their own language and following their own customs in the region that became known as the Sandhills. To the west, Quakers arrived from Pennsylvania and built a settlement called New Garden. Known for its peaceful order and beautiful farms, it reflected the Quakers' simple, hardworking way of life. But among North Carolina's settlers, one group left a mark that would echo for generations across both Carolina and Tennessee, the Scotch-Irish. The name tells their story. These were Scots who had lived in Ireland for generations before coming to America. Many first settled in western Pennsylvania, then spread south into the mountains of North Carolina. They brought with them a strong faith, fierce independence, and an iron will qualities that would define the frontier spirit. You could often tell a Scotch-Irish man by the way he spoke. April. Airn for iron, and by the determined way he carried himself. Thrifty, tough, and resourceful, he distrusted authority, ignored orders he didn't like, and never backed down from a fight. In Pennsylvania, they led the Whiskey Rebellion. In North Carolina, before the Revolutionary War, they stood up in the regulation movement, challenging unfair taxes and corrupt officials. These were not people to bow easily to kings or governors. When the Revolution came, they were among the first to take up arms. Many of America's leaders came from Scotch-Irish families. President James Buchanan in Pennsylvania. From Tennessee came Andrew Jackson, James K. Polk, Hugh L. White, and John Bell, each carrying the stubborn, courageous spirit of those early settlers. Religion ran deep in their lives. Nearly all Scotch-Irish families were Presbyterians, heirs to the faith established in Scotland. When they first settled in Ireland, living among Irish Catholics only strengthened their sense of identity. To this day, someone from Northern Ireland often comes from that same Presbyterian tradition, a proud, independent faith that shaped every part of their lives. These were the people who carved homes from wilderness, who fought, prayed, and argued their way across the Blue Ridge Mountains into the land that would become Tennessee. They brought their courage, their faith, and their stubborn independence gifts that would shape the state's earliest years and leave a mark on its character for generations to come.